I want to talk about Davis Riley here for a moment. He was ranked 250th in the world entering Colonial. He's in the final group playing with Scottie Scheffler, the world #1. He comes out on top. We hear this narrative this season that when the lower profile guys win, that it's somehow bad for the product or it's bad for the game, that the fans aren't sufficiently engaged by it. Isn't this actually what sport is supposed to be about, where you have the ultimate Goliath in the game right now going up against a David and somehow actually losing along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like parity in sports. I mean, I get it. There should be a Yankees. There should be a Lakers. There should be a Kansas City Chiefs. But I also like to see those superior teams upset a bit. And you have the turnover of new potential rivals coming into play. I mean, we didn't know who Matthew Pavon really was in the game of golf until this year. Jake Knapp goes and wins in Mexico. Steven Yeager stares down Scottie Scheffler in Houston. And now you have Davis Riley, a guy who hasn't finished inside the top 10 once this year, stare down not only Scottie Scheffler, but also in the first page of that leaderboard was Colin Morikawa and Keegan Bradley, other major champions. So, yeah, I personally think that it is good to have this turnover of young players that are starting to build the belief and build the confidence, and especially when they stare down the top player on the planet in Scottie Scheffler. I mean, he walked the same fairways, the same steps. He was in the same group with Scottie Scheffler, who has been a dominant figure. And for him to overcome those internal nerves and the external pressures of trying to hang on to a victory, yeah, I mean, good on him. And who knows, this may open the floodgates for him. But I like parity at times on the PGA Tour.
I'm going to take it a step further, Todd. Not only do I think it's good for the game, I think it's necessary for the game. We spent a lot of time over the last 2 years talking about the need to have those players have a pathway to whatever the PGA Tour is going to become. Right now, it's signature events. We don't know what's going to come next, but there has to be some sort of turnover. There has to be some sort of promotion, relegation, whatever that number looks like. And the reason behind that is, if you just went back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, most golf fans didn't know who Will Zalatoris is. Now he's a star. If you go back 3, 4 years ago, most golf fans didn't know who Scottie Scheffler was. I can keep doing this with Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas and all the players who come out on the PGA Tour and they play their way into a position where they become stars. That's the way the system is supposed to work. So I do think parity is necessary. And to your point about Davis Riley being paired with Scottie Scheffler, it wasn't that long ago when we were having a conversation about, is Scottie starting to bring sort of that Tiger aura when he shows up? When his name's on a leaderboard, are players looking over their shoulder and kind of wilting away like they did with Tiger when he was in his prime? Not only did Davis not wilt away, but he put together a really, really good round of golf against the #1 player in the world, head-to-head with him in the final group on a really difficult golf course. Those are 3 really good style points.
I got to push back here a little bit. T-Lou, you covered Tiger Woods' height of power. Are you saying that that wasn't necessarily a great thing for the game to have someone win 3 majors in 1 year, 4 in a row?
I mean,
8 times. I mean, don't we want Scottie to channel his inner Tiger?
He's baiting you here, Todd. He's baiting you.
I mean, come on, David. You're asking me to compare Da Vinci's David with my daughter's Play-Doh sculpture here. I mean, come on. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, Tiger Woods urbanized golf. He made golf cool in the inner city. He made it. I mean, he just elevated the game. I mean, he was different. And yes, he by far the most dominant player in the modern era. I get it. I get what you're saying. Yes, it was great when he was doing what he was doing. It was tremendous for the game. But I don't know if we have a Tiger-like presence right now because of Tiger Woods and the fact that this game is so global and the depth is so strong right now globally. I don't know if you're ever going to have another Tiger Woods.
All right, I'll take the bait here, Damon, just for fun's sake. I will say that I did make the argument that golf was always at its best when Phil Mickelson was playing his best. Because Tiger Woods in his prime, he was a known commodity. We know he was going to show up week in and week out. But it was when Phil was playing really, really well and was challenging you. I say that was one of the most interesting times, at least in my career, because you had this dichotomy between the two. I get it. If you're a fan of the Boston Celtics, you love the fact that they look like they're on a historic run. But not everyone's a fan of the Boston Celtics.
That's a great point. We need a Tiger Phil, Tiger VJ, Tiger Duval, Jack, Tom Watson, Jack, Arnold Palmer. We need, I think, maybe some rivalries to blossom, and perhaps they will with Scottie and Rory or Xander and Wyndham Clark. We've seen a little bit as well. How about the golf course itself this past week? Rex, Jordan Spieth talked about it earlier in the week, how much he loved the changes, and Scottie said he liked them as well, but said that the fairways were a little bit firm as this golf golf course continues to grow in? What were your takeaways from the renovation?
Yeah, to be fair, I do think they need to give it a year or two, let the grass grow in. I don't think they're going to be quite as firm, quite as severe going forward to what we ended up with this year. Not to give Gil Hanse too many flowers. I think he's going to get his second take here on the show. I think John Cook just mentioned his name as well. I'm really dubious anytime an architect comes in and wants to quote unquote redo a classic golf course, because they don't ever seem to go very well. This is the exception. I think what he did is he needed to give Colonial a little bit of teeth to sort of match that modern professional, the bigger, stronger, faster game. And he did that, but he kept sort of the classic flair. I had a chance to talk with Ryan Palmer last week, and he was a consultant on this. And he said every step of the way, Gil was in touch with the membership. He was in touch with Ryan. He was in touch with a lot of the tour players who live in that area, making sure that what he did gave Colonial some teeth, but he also kept sort of that magic that made Colonial special.
Yeah, and that's a special golf course. I mean, you rank it right up there with Harbor Town, where you have to be a great shot maker. But if you'd asked me a month ago, guys, that the scores at the PGA Championship would be significantly lower than they were at Colonial, I said, you're crazy. But indeed, that was. And I don't know if there's somebody who's an engineer out there that can make this happen, that can keep these greens on the PGA Tour as firm as we saw at Colonial. But I feel like if you have that, you see the true ball strikers, the greater players come out on top. Davis Riley did it, yes, but Scotty Scheffler was there. Colin Morikawa was there as well. But, yeah, I think give it a year or two, this place is going to be magical.